Angel Reese had the ball, wide open under the rim, tied game, chance to bury the Indiana Fever for good. She missed it. Clean look, point blank, and it rolled right off. Games goes into overtime. Stephen A. Smith saw the tape and went off on her, and by the end of this video you'll understand exactly why he did. Because this wasn't just a missed layup, it was the moment her entire "I'm the WNBA's Michael Jordan" act fell apart on national television as Caitlyn Clark and the Indiana Fever just embarrassed her on live TV. When do you think Reese will be fired from the WNBA? Let me know down in the comments below.
Caitlyn Clark and
I'm a fan.
Angel Reese, right?
Yeah.
They're going back and
I'm a
forth.
fan of both.
And Jamil Hill says by the time Angel Reese is done, she's going to be the Michael Jordan of WNBA.
She said about Angel Reese?
She said Angel Reese, by the time she retires, can you pull up this quote? She said by the time she retires, she will be the MJ.
Let's break down exactly what happened because the details matter here. Tied game, clock winding down, and Atlanta misses a shot from Ryan Howard. Angel Reese goes for her patented rebound, ball in her hands, point blank under the rim. She's their all-star, their franchise piece, the player they built the whole roster around. So when she caught it wide open with a clean look at the basket, everybody in that building expected the ball to go through the net. It didn't. It rimmed out, bounced away, and Indiana survived a possession that should have ended the game right there.
There's 3 things that's guaranteed in life: death, taxes, and Angel Reese missing crucial layups. And my goodness, she missed it at a perfect time. Thank you, Angel Reese, because now Fever can move up in the standings because of you. You blew it for your dream.
This wasn't some meaningless bucket in a blowout. This was the possession that decided whether Atlanta walked out of State Farm Arena with a win over the team everybody wanted them to beat, or whether they'd hand Indiana new life heading into overtime. Smesco later admitted the play wasn't even run right, saying there was supposed to be a screen in there and the team just forgot to set it. So Reese didn't just miss a shot. She caught the ball in a broken possession and still had a look good enough to win the game, and the shot still didn't fall.
Angel Reese, part 33, let's get it! Burn! She's got the yips on wide open layups. Burn! On national TV, Angel Reese did not disappoint. The chuck and duck. Bang! It's Angel's Island, party of one, nobody around. Bang! Oh, not the crisscross applesauce into the spinaroo. Flippity-doo! Burn!
Picture the sound in that arena right after it happened. Total silence from the Atlanta crowd, the kind of quiet that tells you the home team just watched their season slip through their fingers. And on the other end of the floor, Indiana's bench came unglued, jumping up, screaming, because they knew exactly what that miss meant. That swing in energy wasn't an accident. It was the whole game flipping in about 2 seconds. Look at what happened after that in the fourth quarter and overtime. Atlanta's offense went ice cold, managing next to nothing, while Indiana's defense locked the paint down and made every possession a fight. The Indiana Fever made the adjustment that broke Atlanta's rhythm, switching the team into a zone in the fourth quarter that took away the exact driving lanes Atlanta wanted to run through Reese. Clark herself pointed to that switch afterward, saying the zone defense really bothered Atlanta once Indiana went to it in the fourth, and it wasn't subtle. Atlanta scored only 9 points in that quarter after the switch, which, for a team with Reese and Alicia Gray on the floor, is close to offensive shutdown numbers.
Odd with Reese leaking out, finds her, and Reese can't finish. 3 to shoot. Reese will fire a 3. Odd can't hit. Reese left alone. Reese gets denied by. I'm getting stressed out watching her attempt it. Reese can't. Vegas at 9. For more on these games, please go to WNBA.com or visit the WNBA app. Reese gets denied. Reese, guarded by Timpson, looking to take it to her. Reese, the footwork, couldn't finish it. Okot keeps it alive.
Smesco said it himself after the game, and his words tell you everything about what he saw from the sideline in real time. He said the team got stagnant, standing around watching one person hold the ball instead of moving without it. He even brought up how this exact problem hurt them before, saying it was a strange time for that habit to come back up again in the biggest game of the season. That's not a media narrative. That's the head coach describing his own offense collapsing around his best player.
disappointing finish to the game. Kind of a tough fourth quarter for us, and then we had a chance to win it at regulation, and it just didn't go down. And
we had a chance to win it in regulation, and it just didn't go down. He trying to say it like they missed the three. She missed a point-blank layup. He's pissed. This is the same man that blasted Angel Reese 4 days ago.
And that collapse buried one of the best performances of the season. Alicia Gray dropped a career-high 32 points, grabbed 7 rebounds, and handed out 5 assists, playing aggressive and competitive all night long. Smesko even praised her directly, saying she was competitive and really good out there. None of it mattered, because every time Reese touched the ball late in the game, the offense around her stopped moving, and the whole possession died with it. So when that final possession came, tied game, everybody in the arena knowing what was coming, Reese caught the ball under the rim with a look defenders would kill to get, and the shot rimmed out. That miss became the image of the entire collapse, the one moment that summed up everything wrong with how Atlanta closes games. Indiana didn't just survive it. They'd been built all night to make sure a moment like that would matter more than anything else on the floor.
Try to compete in overtime. I thought players try to execute the game plan really well, especially defensively. It's just disappointing to come up short when we had an opportunity to win.
We had an opportunity. He keeps saying it. We had an opportunity in regulation. We had an opportunity to win. This is directly at Angel Reese. He gonna keep going. He's gonna keep going.
Reese's own words were already floating around the internet long before this game, and now they were about to age worse than anything Atlanta did on the court. She'd called herself the WNBA's Michael Jordan. She'd called herself the league's it girl. Both quotes were sitting out there, clipped and saved, waiting for a moment like this to resurface, and Reese handed everybody that moment on a silver platter with one missed layup.
Secondly, as much as we love Angel Reese because she is special, she's not Caitlyn Clark as a player. Caitlyn Clark is on a different level. We just have to own that.
Branding built on confidence only works if the box score backs it up eventually. Say you're the best, say you're the face of the league, and the numbers can back you up for a while even when you're not quite there yet. But a missed game-deciding layup in front of a national audience isn't a small gap between the talk and the tape. It's the whole gap on display at once, right when everybody's watching closest.
Because I was calling it from day one. You got people that are resentful towards her. But it's really not about her, guys. It's about what she represents. Before she ever came along, there were a lot of outstanding basketball players who happened to be black females that was doing their thing on the WNBA level. And they never got this kind of shit.
Stephen A. Smith didn't waste time getting to the point once he got on air. He put the missed layup right next to her own words about her status in the league and let the contrast do the damage on its own. He broke down the exact possession, the wide open look, the miss, and then reminded everyone this is the same player who's been calling herself the Michael Jordan of the WNBA and the league's it girl on national platforms for months. His argument came down to one plain idea. If you're going to compare yourself to Michael Jordan, you don't get to borrow the marketing and skip the part where Jordan hit every big shot his team needed. Jordan's whole reputation got built on finishing games, not on branding himself as a finisher while missing the moment that actually decides the outcome. Smith's point wasn't about pride or ego. It was about picking a comparison that comes with expectations attached and then getting caught not meeting them on the biggest stage of the season.
Oh man, the latter part of that, Stephen A., is quite the thing to think on. I think when you go back to the impetus of the rivalry that we have between Caitlyn and Angel Reese, I remember funny clips on the internet.
When the whole country's watching, of course we're getting the patented pray up into a me complain. Bang! Are you a professional basketball player and continuously gallop around like a horsey? Bang! Bang!
Oh, we're missing the OG brick a 2-footer and then fall to the ground. Oh wait, there it is! Bang! If only she spent more time working on her shot than at the salon. Pecan?
Butter pecan! Bang! Angel Reese, clutch Gene for the win! Bang!
Legacy gets built on production, not attention, and Smith used this exact game as his proof. He didn't need to reach for old stats or dig up unrelated history. The missed layup against Indiana was sitting right there as the clearest evidence he could ask for. A wide open shot, a tied game, and a whiff that cost her team the chance to finish off their rival right when the label she gave herself needed to show up the most.
I have yet to see a single example of Angel Reese being a leader. Outside of rebounding her own missed layups, what does Angel Reese do? What is her contribution? You tell me, because I'm not seeing it. I know I'm harsh on Angel Reese, but she considers herself a star. If you're going to call yourself a star, I expect you to perform like a star, especially in big moments.
Smith framed Clark as the example of what quiet production actually looks like night after night without needing to announce it to anybody. Reese became his example of the opposite. Loud branding with nothing to back it up when the moment actually arrived. That contrast is what made his take spread as fast as it did. Because he wasn't inventing a storyline, he was pointing at two players and letting their numbers speak for themselves. Clips of Smith's take spread instantly, cut right next to the missed layup footage, and by the next morning it had turned into the story of the week across every sports platform. Other analysts jumped in fast, some agreeing the criticism was fair given what Reese herself had said publicly, others calling it excessive for one missed shot in one game. Former players weighed in too, split on whether Smith went too far or not far enough.
Goose comes along, and she wreaks havoc. She's the Rookie of the Year. She's 4th in the league in MVP voting. 4th in the league, her rookie year.
Wow.
Outstanding. She's like Steph Curry. She can pull up from anywhere. You understand? She has that kind of capability. Didn't win a national championship. Lost to LSU one year. We lost to South Carolina another year. But she's outstanding and clearly worthy of being the #1 overall pick. And what I was saying to everybody is ride the wave. Rising tide lifts all boats.
Smith's real argument landed, regardless of where people fell on that debate. The It Girl label means nothing if you can't finish the possession that decides the game. And that's exactly the possession Reese couldn't finish. From here forward, every big moment either of these players faces gets measured against this exact night. What does real dominance look like sitting right next to a manufactured highlight reel? You put Clark's box score next to Reese's, and the answer shows up fast. Clark closed with 26 points and 9 assists, running the offense the entire fourth quarter and overtime without ever losing control of the game. Reese, the player who calls herself the league's Michael Jordan, managed one big missed shot and a stat line in that same stretch that nobody's going to remember for the right reasons.
Her teammates. Stephanie White says she's seeing the whole floor doing a jump
dream.
circle. Sherrod
Here's Clark, guarded by Sherrod, finds Timpson on the roll. She'll lay it in.
One of the to play fast, push the pace, as does Indiana.
Clark bangs all the way in and finishes. Here's Clark, working behind Boston. Has the switch on Reese, will fire, and hit from 3. Cunningham looking for help, finds Clark. Clark to a wide open Harris. Her 3 is good.
This isn't a one-game thing either. Clark's been putting up 26-plus points, 9-plus assists, and 3-plus rebounds for 11 games straight, a stretch nobody else in this league is even close to touching. Think about what that means for a guard who's also getting hit, trapped, and blitzed on every single possession by teams building entire game plans just to slow her down. She's not padding stats against bad defenses either. She's doing this while defenses load up specifically to take the ball out of her hands. And she's still finding a way to run the offense at an elite level every night.
And then Ty said, Cece leaves me in awe. Said, I'm watching her some wheeling, found some space, didn't take, finds Boston in the paint. Threat basis for this group.
Exactly that, making a big impact, bringing energy, bringing a spark off the bench.
That stretch puts her past 700 assists this season, which isn't just a big number for highlight shows. It means she's the one controlling the game from the opening tip to the final possession, setting up the same teammates over and over in ways that make the whole offense easier to run. A guard racking up assists at that pace isn't getting lucky passes. She's reading defenses possession after possession and making the right read almost every time down the floor. She found Timpson cutting backdoor. She found Boston rolling to the rim, and none of those looks were accidents. They came from Clark seeing the defense shift and making the pass before the window closed, which is the entire difference between a point guard who runs plays and one who actually controls a game.
Back to Timpson in the lane for the lay. Clark, guarded by Sherrod, will fire a bomb and hit. Off to Clark. Clark looking to work the lane on Pow. The left-handed finish.
Contact, and guess what? They're sold out for Nike. I think they need to make some more.
Love that ollie as Clark. Guarded by Howard, an outstanding defender. Clark looking to separate, fading and hitting. He's 3 of 5 from deep. Clark through the lane, reverses it in.
Now put that next to how Atlanta's offense worked once the ball found Reese's hands late in games. It didn't work. Guys stood around, the ball stopped moving, and the possession turned into isolation basketball against a set defense that knew exactly what was coming. Clark's game is the opposite of that. Every touch keeps the ball moving and keeps 4 other players involved, and that's the entire difference between an offense with a system and an offense that just hopes its star bails everyone out. Makayla Timpson had a career night, 20 points, and a big part of that came directly off Clark finding her in rhythm on cuts and finishes at the rim. Boston did her damage on the other end, playing defense that turned into transition buckets, giving Indiana extra possessions Atlanta never planned for and never figured out how to stop. Every possession Indiana turned into a fast break was a possession Atlanta's scouting report didn't account for, and those extra trips down the floor piled up fast.
Between the Fever and Dream. Here's Clark, guarded by Sherrod, finds Timpson on the roll. She'll lay it in.
One of the things you see right away.
Line, missed the lay. Timpson, the putback is good. For more on these games, please go to WNBA.com or visit the WNBA app. Reese gets denied by Timpson. Mitchell trying to find some space. Whirling, dishing. Billings. Timpson, no hesitation there. The back. Timpson couldn't finish it. Does on the follow. Timpson, 6 to shoot. Finds Clark, back to Timpson in the lane for the lay.
That's the gap this game exposed for anybody paying attention. Skill and system beat a highlight reel and a slogan every time. And Clark's 26-9 sitting next to Reese's missed layup is the proof. That gap didn't stay on the stat sheet either. It turned into a conversation about who Reese actually is as a player, and that conversation was about to get a lot louder. Here's what makes this whole thing different from a normal bad loss. This wasn't reporters piling on Reese after the fact, trying to build a story out of nothing. It was her own coach, standing at the podium, pointing right at the habit that sank his team in the biggest game of the year.
Atlanta Dream, they are not happy with Angel Reese. Angel Reese was an absolute travesty to the game of basketball today. She humiliated herself out there. It was ridiculous. The girl missed about 8 or 9 layups right at the rim. She blew a fast break layup all by herself, and she blew the game-winning layup. Alicia Gray, not happy. Alicia Gray did her part, 34 points, and she's pissed off Angel Reese blew this game. Head coach Carl Semesco also pissed off with Angel Reese for blowing this game, embarrassing the team.
Go back to what Semesco actually said, because the context matters more the second time around. He's not venting, he's not caught off guard by a question he didn't expect. He's explaining a loss to a room full of reporters, and he chooses to describe his best player standing around holding the ball while 4 other guys watch. Coaches don't stumble into a quote like that. They pick their words after a game like this, knowing exactly how it's going to read. And Semesco still said it anyway. Think about what that says. A coach protects his players in public 9 times out of 10, even after ugly losses, even when everybody in the building saw the same thing go wrong. Semesco didn't do that here. He described the exact pattern that broke his offense, on the record, right after the biggest game Atlanta had played all season, which tells you the frustration wasn't new and it wasn't small.
I thought we kind of got really stagnant. You still got to move against the zone. I mean, you got to look to penetrate and move the ball, flash into a window and cut. I just thought we got, standing around watching one person with the ball. We talked about it during timeouts, but it's still, we haven't seen a lot of zone, but we have worked on it in practice. And I think in practice, we've done really well against it. I just think today, late in the game, we kind of went away from what we typically do against zone and just kind of watched one person with the ball instead of...
The mood in that locker room afterward matched the tone of his quote. Reports out of Atlanta described a group that looked deflated, not just from losing, but from losing the same way again in front of a national audience. Alicia Gray dropped a career-high 32 points, one of the best games of her career, and it barely got mentioned anywhere the next day. Nobody wanted to talk about Gray's night because the story writing itself was about the ball sticking in one place at the exact moment Atlanta needed it moving. That's the pattern Smesko called out directly. Guys standing, watching, waiting on one player instead of cutting, screening, moving without the ball the way a functional offense needs to. It's not complicated basketball. When the ball stops moving, the defense sets, the passing lanes close, and the possession turns into isolation basketball against a set defense that already knows what's coming. That's exactly what happened late in that game, over and over, until the final possession turned into exactly the look everybody in the building saw coming from a mile away.
There was supposed to be one screen in there, and we kind of forgot the screen. But then Rye, took the shot, and we told those two to, really crash the boards and give us a second chance. They both did exactly what we asked for them. And then we got two looks, right at the end of the game that, could have won it for us, but, they rolled out.
He's pissed. We got two looks right at the end of the game, two layups, and they just rolled out.
Now put Indiana's locker room next to that. Reporters walked in and got a totally different tone. Players naming each other, crediting White's zone switch, crediting Clark's reads, crediting Timpson's cuts, spreading the credit around instead of pointing to one hero who saved the game. That's what a locker room sounds like when the whole team believes the win belonged to everybody on the roster, not one player who happened to get hot. Meanwhile, the clips were already spreading online before either team left the building. Reese's missed layup got cut next to old interviews of her calling herself the WNBA's Michael Jordan, the league's it girl, clips that had already been floating around for months before this game gave them a new meaning. Fans didn't need media members to connect those dots. They did it themselves in real time, and the pairing made the moment hit even harder.
What shots to take or control the game for floor game overall as Reese can't finish. 10 for Indiana right now. Reese, the crossover. It's tonight from Howard. Reese barrels in, can't finish, tipped out. Cunningham. Reese will fire. 5 seconds. Howard launches. Missed it badly. Reese, the putback won't go. Hillman.
This wasn't really about one possession anymore either. It turned into a bigger conversation about how Atlanta operates in crunch time altogether, a pattern going back further than just this one game against Indiana. Her own team blamed her because it happened again, in the biggest moment of the season, in front of everybody watching live. Strip away the branding, the quotes, the it girl talk, and this game comes down to one plain fact. Indiana won because Clark makes every single teammate better, and Atlanta lost because their best player couldn't finish the one possession that mattered most. That's not an opinion anymore. That's what the box score and the tape both show. Clark's chasing MVP, and Indiana's building toward a title in 2026, with Boston, Mitchell, Hull, and Cunningham all rising behind her. Reese still has to prove she can finish. Clark already has. When do you think Reese will be fired from the WNBA? Let me know down in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications as we're bringing you all the action and top stories. Click the video on the screen, and we'll see you in the next one.